2020 was an interesting year. Lots of changes out there, especially in the sports world. One specifically was around a beloved team in Edmonton. They were the 14-time Grey Cup champions. They had an interesting name. The name really didn't fit societal standards anymore. So they decided to change it. Hence, what become of the Edmonton football team. Now, as of June 1st, 2021, there's a new name. The Edmonton Elks. On this podcast, I made fun of that name. I made fun of it on multiple occasions. Now, we have a new name. It's official. It's the Edmonton Elks, and that's Elks with an S. I don't know if it's grammatically correct. We'll talk about that as well. This is episode 29 of Those Canadian Lads podcast. We're going to talk and get right down into the big topic of the day in the Edmonton sports scene, and that is the new name of Edmonton's football championship team, the Edmonton Elks. Elk charge! Jeffrey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm wonderful, Brad, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I remember a few podcasts ago we were talking about all the cool names that had come up in the online survey that the Edmonton football team had put out, and I was really hoping for the Edmonton Evergreens. That would have been awesome. That would have been a great name. The Edmonton Elks was on that list. The Edmonton Eagles was another one. There was was the Ever Golds, I think, was one as well.
Something like that.
Yeah, Ever something, but whatever. There was a lot of bad names, and at the time, I thought the Elks was going to be a part of that. So, dear listener, welcome. It's obviously it's beautiful June in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and Canada is starting to come out, and we're going to talk a lot about a few different things, a few topics at hand these days that's going on, because we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The light is appearing. Jason Kenneys has developed a light and is going to be allowing us Albertans to have the best summer ever, Jeffrey. The best summer ever. And apparently Jason was having the best summer ever starting last night on his patio in his Crystal Palace, but we'll talk about that later. But let's get started. First topic at hand on Those Canadian Lads podcast, episode 29, the Edmonton Elks. What was your thought on the rebranding of the famous football team of Edmonton?
We complained, about the choices in names, and I think once they went with it has to be the alliteration, the double E. I think they kind of handcuffed themselves to a certain extent about what it was going to be. But we complained about the length of time they were taking to unveil the name. And upon the announcement of the Elks, I'm starting to wonder if the prolonged time period was just to wear you down enough that you wouldn't object to the name as much as you may had if you'd heard it 6 months ago. Because I'll be honest, I don't like the name.
Why?
I don't think any of the options based on the double E alliteration was going to do it for me no matter what. So they were already coming from a point of weakness, in my opinion. I think they could have done a total rebrand. Everyone loves their own ideas. I love my idea of the Edmonton Trappers returning to the scene. The color, they could have kept the color scheme, everything like that. But anyways, they chose what they did, and they've done what they've done. As I said, I think the name is not particularly strong. I think any time that you have to consult with a linguistic or professor of linguistics and some dictionary people about whether your name is going to be grammatically correct, I think that's a sign that you've gone down the wrong trail to a certain extent. It's kind of like trying to predict if your name's going to be racist in 10 years' time. If you're teetering on that edge, maybe you shouldn't select it anyways. Just forget about it. But I do want to give the team props, and I will admit that upon the announcement, I'm a little bit excited for the season to start. But they did a fantastic job on the logo, and they rebranded Commonwealth Stadium. The field looks fantastic, quite frankly. And I'll give credit where credit's due. The logo looks fantastic, and the horns on the helmet look good too.
So for me, I'm going to kind of backpedal a little bit because I have to. Because for me, I'm a visual guy. I like to see things before I make up my mind, I guess. But after seeing what they did with the logo, the fonts, the color scheme, to me, the name is awesome. I think it fits kind of Alberta. There's a big hunting community, though, that we don't want our elks to be hunted, especially here in Edmonton because they're our football franchise. But elk, I just love how they've put it all together. The helmet, like, this is the one thing that I was really worried about, was that they were going to change the name, and all they were going to do is change the name. All they were going to do is just give us the same old recycled double E inside of a football, that 1980s look. And that's what I truly actually was worried about. I was concerned that they were just going to kind of recycle it and just shove us back some more crappy, stale kind of marketing that generally we've come to expect out of Edmonton sports franchises over the last number of years. To be honest, the Edmonton hockey jerseys, they have been kind of weak over the last number of years, and the fans have been kind of saying, hey, they want the Royal Blues back, or they want that, navy blue with the new orange, or, things like that. But that's the other team, and we'll get to that one day later down the road. But the Edmonton the Edmonton Elks.
The Edmonton Elks. You can actually say the real name now.
Yeah, the Elks. Yeah, not even the Edmonton football team. It's the Edmonton Elks. Oh, Elk Charge. Yeah. So excited. Anyways, I was worried. But I was wrong to be worried, because what they did is they put together a fantastic package. The logo, like you said, they've got it in different colors. They've got it on a black on black. They've got it just in so many different. They have the antler football that they put together with the logo. They took it and ran with it, and they made different iterations of the branding, and it just looks so good. The helmet to me is the big change for me. Having the helmet with the antlers on it, it looks so cool. Like, I honestly, I was talking to my nephew about it yesterday, and he's like, Uncle, did you see that? It looks so cool. Like, for me, for to see kids excited about this type of change and a new look for the football team, that's what really this is all about. If you're going to sell Canadian football and next year the XFL in Edmonton, Jeff, you're going to need to kind of modernize yourself and get yourself a little bit more up to speed in regards to what you can do. And I guess, having a racist football team name allowed us to make some changes and push the old refresh on the computer. So I'm pumped. I've been sharing it, as Jeff has mentioned to me that by your social media activity, you sure like the Edmonton Elks now, and they've done a great job. They've mailed a bunch of stuff to their players. Trevor Harris, our quarterback, got a package in the mail, and he videotaped it for Instagram and Twitter today and put it out there. And it's just they're just doing a good job with this whole marketing push. And to be honest, I am very surprised, because that generally doesn't happen. So
I have to, like I said, I stand by the fact that I like the logo. I have to disagree a little bit, though. CFL teams don't do a great job of their marketing. I don't expect one of them to all of a sudden just start becoming great at it. But I'll go to the announcement. So it was obviously a pre-recorded message from the president of the team. If you watch that video, it's 30 minutes long. There's 25 minutes of dead space, effectively, which was I have no idea who thought that editing was sufficient.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
The video they released, there was
a
like
live feed.
Yeah, but when they put it back out to the media in video form, it was 30 minutes long and 25 minutes of dead space. That's how I got it. That's how the team sent it to me.
Oh, well, no,
it was horrible. And then they unleashed the video with two players playing against nobody, running suicides on the field for some reason. I don't know what kind of game action that was trying to market to. And then, I thought the video was weak. I thought the reasoning behind the logo, showing that this represents community, it was all blah 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 junk. It didn't mean anything. Just a bunch of words. The other thing I laughed at too was that I don't know if they're going to run this through the season, but they're like, oh, when you see the antlers lowered, like the lowering of a head, That's an illegal hit in football now. You can't fucking do that.
We're going to take guys' heads off, Jeff.
Yeah.
We're going to be the dirtiest team in Canadian football.
Well, but
in XFL football, you can't tell me, listener, you can't see, but you can't tell me that the gear doesn't look awesome, Jeff.
I didn't say anything against the gear. I just said the horrible marketing video was poorly made. Also, I do have to point out, because I did, obviously, with the announcement, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit excited. I have season tickets. Season tickets I've actually never used because I bought them and then the season shut down. I just wanted to get into the stadium, but I wanted to upgrade my seats. And another nice little thing, and for you fans out there, you click on the ticket patch. What's the website? GoElks.com?
GoElks.com.
Yeah, if you click on the ticket pack, it goes to esks.com. So that was probably something they should have had fixed up before the first. I don't even know what an esks is. Yeah, what's that word mean? What is it referencing?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Our kids are gonna love that. And back in the day, it's like, Dad, did you know the name of the football team was called the Edmonton Eskimos? Yeah, I was around when that happened, kid.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my jersey is going to still say that because I'm not going to go buy a new CFL jersy. But
I'm going to shame you. I'm going to cancel you at the football game. I'm just going to yell at you like, change your jersey. You're racist. You're being racist.
I'm usually drunk at the games. It doesn't bother me.
So is most of the people there.
So most of the Commonwealth fans. Yeah, for those who've not been to a Commonwealth an Edmonton Elks game or the previous iteration of the team at Commonwealth Stadium. That stadium is swimming in beer by halftime. Nobody can drive out of that parking lot.
It's a great excuse to go get schmammered. Is an Edmonton football game. I remember seeing a lady. They were drinking I think a 60 vodka, because I remember there's a lot of wind up in the upper deck. And they had thrown their empty plastic bottle of vodka in the air, and it went like flying behind them. It was an awesome scene. I'll never forget that. And then I remember being at a football game with you and one young lady behind us. We were with our significant others, but Jeff and I kept turning around because the one young inebriated lady kept showing the police officer that was standing down at the section exit her breasts. So it was a good night.
I don't think I looked back.
Yeah,
I think I just got the highlights from you, but no, as I said, it's always fun to go to a game. A June, July, summer night at Commonwealth. Actually, in fall football is really fun to go to too. I've waxed poetic about the Grey Cup on this podcast more than once. So, no, it is going to be exciting at the prospect that this season will kick off. And I know as an Edmonton fan, it's nice that there's a rebranding. There might be some exciting stuff happening. It's not my idea. I don't want to steal anyone's ideas, but I'm sure other people have had it as well. But what do you think of the idea of getting an elk to roam the field?
Why would you do that? It's freaking wild.
Yeah, have like a squadron of elk that wander around the track on Commonwealth Field. We can pin them in and scare them, make them run.
You know what though? I made fun of it when we were talking about the names coming out, but the Calgary Stampeders jumped right on it. It's welcoming the Edmonton Elks to the Canadian Football League. It's hunting season. I'm just like, oh yeah, here we go. Go. So again, not taking a predator's name. We are a herd. Is it a herd?
A herd herbivore.
We have herd immunity.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just getting ahead.
Timing.
Just getting ahead of the COVID swing. So, yeah, as I said, it's not an intimidating, cool name. It's definitely, as I said, when you limit yourself to the alliteration game, you're going to be stuck with something like that. And as I said, the logos look fine. The gear is going to look good. But quite frankly, it's a weak name. So
I remember the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tweeted out too, is like, oh, welcome to the league new name. We were hoping you were going to be the Edmonton Green Golds, and then they do a winky face, and it's like at Red Blacks. So it's just like, yeah, way to go.
Yeah. Well, I got to imagine whoever's running that Twitter account is probably was bracing for the fire that was going to come from the announcement, just knowing that everyone was going to trash it.
How are they going to combat being slaughtered on a nightly basis? I don't know. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
There's more of us. We have the biggest stadium. We're all Elks.
Wouldn't that make them the Empire?
Oh, you know what? That's one name I was totally down with.
I didn't like that name either. I thought it was stupid. So I'm
You're
just making fun of it.
You're stupid.
You know, they always say the highest form of intelligence is mocking everything and not giving up any actual good information to anyone else. So that's what I am.
What would you have done, Jeff? What would you have done? You're just criticizing me left, right, and center.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm criticizing the team. And I also said I would name them Trappers. So,
and I was agreeing. I love that name. I just miss that brand. Like maybe it's just something we're, kind of a romantic kind of affliction to, right? Because we grew up with it and went to the ballpark and things like that. But that brand means a lot to me, right? That Edmonton Trapper brand. It's something that when I was a little kid, like we had season tickets to the AAA baseball team, right? And Ron Kittle hitting 50 home runs and all that kind of stuff I remember, right? So it's something I miss, though. I'm pretty stoked actually for the Riverhawks to come on board, though it's still college baseball, but it'll be fun to go down to the park again with a little bit better ownership, right? So
yeah, it's a beautiful stadium. And as I said, you can't go wrong going to a game here in Edmonton in the summer. So definitely jump on that.
Summertime.
Switching gears to the National Hockey League, I am totally going to expose myself as a
here we go.
A sorry fan. Nothing made me smile more than seeing the Leafs get knocked out in Game 7.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I have friends who are Toronto Maple Leaf fans, and I actually felt bad for them because I know what it's like as a fan to go through the hardship. And Toronto hasn't won a playoff series since 2004. Haven't been in a Stanley Cup final since 1967. It's a tough slay. That team. I don't know if they're cursed, but it's not a good thing. Yeah, there's tons of people they're stoked because it's the big smoke, right? It's Toronto. What I don't like is the media. The media in Toronto, when the Oilers lost out last week, we're all over it. Sid Sixero, or whatever that clown's name is, came out last week. Oh, Connor McDavid, look at his face. He's not going to put up with this much longer. It's just like,
yeah.
That's a good look on you this week, you fucking clown. Because this, do you think Austin Matthews is going to want to put up with this crap, or Mitch Marner, or Billy Nylander? It's what comes around goes around, right? And I'm an Oilers diehard. I'm a supporter, but I'm not going to knock the fans, the good people that support their team when they're down. I'm not going to kick them when they're down. That's what Calgary fans are for, because I'll do that to them.
Well, let me do it then.
Yeah, you do it. It's fine.
You go to Rogers Place, and the most ignorant jackass fan base. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to defend Oilers fans. Oilers fans are bad at the best of times as well. But you get the 50-50 stadium of Leafs fans, most of which live in the area and proclaim, I inherited this team and I'm a fan of this team, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you certainly don't choose your team on success, even though you don't choose them on proximity. But I will say the amount of people who are just JAs in Leafs jerseys at the game while they just try to rub it in your face that they're in your barn. Guess what? That's why I hate the team. The organization's not done anything to me. The Leafs organization never went after Jeff. I liked Doug Gilmour. I like Wendell Clark. I like Matt Sundin, Potvin, Curtis Joseph. There's great players from that franchise.
Can you name all the players?
I cannot. But I will say, though, my dislike of the team is completely based on the fan base. They are the worst in any visiting building.
And I think that's a pretty bad stereotype.
It's everyone's experience when they go to the games.
So you were obviously sitting in a real shitty section every time you're watching a game.
Yeah, probably. But I'm not going to get drawn in some bullcrap argument with you while you try to defend it.
I'm not goading you. I'm not.
You are goading me.
No, I'm not.
You and I have had plenty of conversations about how bad their fan base is when they're in the building.
You know what?
Don't even try with me.
I've had exposure to, good fans across the league and all teams, things like that. And I know good people who support the Leafs, and it sucks. I feel bad for them because, be honest, they have no business not being in the second round of the playoffs tonight.
They have all the business in the world of not getting into the second round of the playoffs because they didn't get into the second round of the playoffs.
Oh, Jeff.
They didn't earn shit. And neither did the Oilers. I'm not saying
no,
that,
we didn't earn shit either.
They didn't earn anything.
We didn't spend a bunch of first round draft picks and load up for this playoff run to be knocked out by the fourth place team. We finished, second. We played the third place team in Winnipeg, and what we got exposed with, and we're going to fix it this summer. It's Ken Holland's time to shine. This is the summer of Holland. He has to bring in some new players because the depth on the Edmonton Oilers was not good. But for me, seeing it's like watching the chaos happen, right? If you knew Toronto loses, there's the chaos that's going to follow, right? And obviously they're going to have to make some changes. They're heavy on the cap. They just don't have that killer instinct, right? And what's more concerning is Mitch Marner. Great player in the regular season, but holy shit, did he does not like playing in the playoffs. He's like friggin' Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Maybe we should do a swap of Marner and Hopkins.
Oh, I don't want that cap hit, but. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think between Matthews and Marner, they had one goal.
It was not a good thing.
So it's not like either one of them showed up. And quite frankly, too, you're right. They don't have that killer instinct. Clearly, if they had 3 elimination games to get over the hump, and they just couldn't do it. Now, as I said, I'm not smart enough to rebuild a hockey team, but I will say, you have to move one of those guys, don't you?
Oh, totally. And you got to go and get somebody who's got that killer instinct, right? And, help lead that team to the next level, right? Because they're a good hockey team. They waxed the Oilers so many times this year. And
oh yeah,
they're a good club. And I'm honestly shocked that they ended up in the scenario that they're in. They have no business. Like I said, I know you'll say, well, they have all the business, but really they have no business being not in the second round. There's on paper, they stacked up so much. Crazy. It's crazy to me. But anyways, the Leafs are gone. The Leafs are gone. Let's move on. Let's touch on, I really want to get into, you have a comment about our good friend, Jason Kenny, good friend of the show, Jason Kenny. We've never met him, but we're just assuming.
I don't think I would be friends with Jason Kenny. I think I can declare that pretty easily.
Why? What has he ever done to you?
I don't like people. It's easy for me to say that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I will say, for those who, I think this happened yesterday, but obviously him and a few of the other MPs got nailed into picture having dinner in the, what is the building next to the Parliament that he apparently lives in?
It's the apartment that Alison Redford built. Remember, it was that palace that she spent all that money on when the Conservative Party of Alberta was riding high just before they got caught on all that shit, and she got ousted there. But she had put all this money into it's like a palace. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but this has a nice patio. It looks like it would have been a cool place to have dinner on. But I'm more concerned about people taking photos.
I know that's the one. Yeah. That's what caught my attention too. I'm like, who's flying a drone up there, or who was putting their photo lens out there to try to snap a picture of the premier having dinner? But yeah, for the listeners who haven't seen it, it's him and a few MPs having a dinner out on the patio. I think there's 5 or 6 of them in the picture. Obviously, COVID restrictions have lifted in Alberta, and they're going to continue to do so based upon the plan. Do you have any concerns about them having an outdoor dinner?
Zero. My favorite person on Twitter who was always chastising Jason Kenny, and now it's just evident that they're a fucking idiot. Just looking for the bad in the world, always trying to point out what's wrong. I have zero problems with Jason Kenny having a dinner with his coworkers. They're working late. They're having a late working dinner. They're following the guidelines that they've put in place. There was a nice bottle of Jameson's on the table, so you thought you were going to catch me on that. Of course, I noticed the Jameson's on the table.
You stole that. Do you see how big that bottle of Jameson's was? That was a Costco special. That was the only thing I wanted to talk about.
You know what, man? I've had working dinners like that with my job. Maybe I don't see any issues with it. I think it was actually a nice thing to see people getting together, and it's kind of more of a return to normal. I think people are jealous too. I think people, they're spending money on the government's dime, our dime, having a nice dinner. I didn't know there was bottle service, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, give me a break. Like, these people have a pretty stressful job. They're not going to be in power coming forward either. So let them enjoy themselves. Let them ride out the next couple of years. Cause, for one, I don't think Jason Kenneys getting the leadership again. And two, they're going to have a tough sled if they don't make some changes in getting, things back on track here. But I'm actually quite happy with what they've put together for a relaunch plan. And again, too, the relaunch plan, people coming out, well, it's not based on science, not based on doctors' recommendations. And then Dr. Hinshaw comes out, no, it's a plan that we've recommended and we think it will work. Oh, okay. Yeah. Shut up.
Well said. Yeah, I think that in that situation, it's no matter what they say, they're coming from a point of where everyone wants to criticize them anyways. And much like having this dinner, I think it is one of those situations where it could have been him by himself and everyone would say, look how sad he is having dinner by himself. Or
I picture him eating like a friggin' chicken by himself. It's like, oh, this is good.
A whole roast chicken.
Yeah, a Costco roast chicken all by himself.
No, it would have been great if he had a smoker up there. He could have smoked himself some ribs and just walked right on the table. Anyways, but I do think that's one of the situations. Now, I will say, it's easy to attack politicians and people in the in the zeitgeist in regards to, hey, you're not following the rules. You talked about the rules. You talked about safety, blah blah blah, and it goes on and on and on and on. I think if you have the moral high ground, go ahead and talk. If you haven't broken a single COVID rule, go ahead and throw the first stone. But I will say the list of those people, I would wager it's a 0. Because somebody has broken the rules at one point or another, and there's going to be individuals that, one, don't care at all. They'll continue to break them. But yeah, at this point in time, everything's lifting. They're sitting on a patio having a drink and dinner. I don't care at all. So
they're having a working dinner too. Apparently, it was a working dinner. So they're actually working, talking about the province, trying to make things better. Like,
if they'd made a dent in that giant Jameson's bottle, they were no longer working. It's impossible to work.
Let's just thank God Tyler Shandro didn't fall over the ledge. Something tells me he's a bit of a lightweight, like me.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm fine with it. But as I said, he can't win no matter what. I'm not saying that he should win. I'm not saying he should be back. But there's no chance for that guy to come out squeaky clean on anything. So
it's hard to be a fan of that guy. He's just got a smugness. But you know what? If anybody was dealt the shittiest deck of cards in Canada, it was Jason Kenney. You get an oil crisis, you get a pandemic, all in one go through here at the start of his new leadership of Alberta. Yeah, man, sucks to be you.
Yeah, no, he's up against it. Before we wrap up, I don't really have anything on the UFO front, unless you have something in your back pocket that you wanted to blast out.
No back pocket stuff other than just a lot of chatter coming out. It was June 1st yesterday. It's currently June 2nd, if you can do the math. June 2nd today. But there's a lot of chatter saying that this report's going to come out. And I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. It's it's funny. So, I guess I do have news. There's the mainstream media is continually now starting to ask questions in the briefings and the question periods that they get with the with either the Pentagon or White House correspondents, things like that, right? So the questions are starting to be asked. And there was a gentleman, I don't know the name because I'm not American, but it was at the Pentagon. He was doing a briefing, and mainstream media, CNN, Fox, CBS, ABC, everybody was asking questions, and they started throwing him some UAP report questions. And I'm not going to lie, this guy was skittering a little bit. He was trying to deflect him off because, one, he probably didn't know, but two, he doesn't want to say something that's going to get him in trouble. And that's what's got me kind of excited, is that it went, I don't know if you remember a few years, the Phoenix lights sighting.
Oh yeah, I remember the Phoenix lights.
Yeah. Kurt Russell was the pilot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We just found that out this year too. That was pretty cool. But Kurt Russell, Phoenix Lights, but I think it was the senator or the congressman for Arizona came out and had a press conference, and it was just kind of like a jokey thing, and they bring out an alien in a costume, like a guy in an alien costume, and they have a big laugh about it. Well, a couple years later, that same congressman or senator comes out as actually, no, that wasn't we were kind of dumb. We shouldn't have done that. I actually saw the friggin' thing. So, you don't know what to believe, right? It's all kind of, it's all muddled now, right? You don't know what to believe out there. And, but it's going to be either way. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a topic that's not going to go away, right? If they don't give us any news, it's just going to, I think, create more leaks in the Pentagon and in the intelligence community, because there's definitely stuff going to to Jeremy Corbell, that's for sure.
Yeah, as we talked about 2 episodes ago, he's really benefiting from whatever feed he is getting, because he is now a namestay on national news talking about this type of stuff. I think June 19th is the date that we will get this unveiled upon society. It will be interesting. Going back to like any press secretaries or anybody who gets grilled on this type of stuff, if I was them, I'd just be like, no, nothing, man. Just walk away from it as quickly as possible, because you don't want to be the one who may or may not say something. Just walk away, man. It's not worth it. So, yeah. Before we depart for the night, I did want to bring up something really quickly. I'm going to try to say this without sounding like I'm humble bragging or sound like a real D-bag or anything. But this last weekend was Memorial Day weekend in the United States, which, of course, in the fitness CrossFit world means that everyone did Murph. And for those who don't know, Murph is named after a soldier who had passed away while serving his country. Effectively a insanely physically fit individual. So I don't know where the popularity of this came from, but I'm assuming it is on the heels of CrossFit. Effectively, what everyone does is that on Memorial Day weekend, everyone does a mile run, 100 chin-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then another mile run for time. And then people post their times. And some of the insanely fit people can do it in under 30 minutes, which is unbelievable. I read an article about somebody who did 16 in a row, which is absolutely astonical. Astonical is not a word, but the reason I bring it up is I did it on Sunday morning, and it is Wednesday evening, and I'm still sore, even though I've been doing my regular workouts while being sore. But the main reason I wanted to bring it up was it's things like this that I find this stuff very interesting, but it's not necessarily the fact that somebody can do one of these workouts. Everyone can do certain things. I think the idea is challenging yourself. And I certainly like the idea, and I do want to kind of just push that out to the universe, effectively saying that it's one of those opportunities where you can take on a challenge where I'll admit, Saturday evening and then Sunday morning when I woke up, I was a little bit nervous about how this was going to go for myself, especially on the second part of the mile run. But you know what? I think you have to go out there. You have to challenge yourself. You have to make yourself uncomfortable. And I think it's through those times that you can really just sit there and go, yeah, I did something today. And you should apply this to your work. You should apply it to your personal life. And it doesn't need to be a physical fitness thing. It can be, I went out and did an uncomfortable presentation at work. I had an uncomfortable conversation with a family member that needed to be had. But I think it's through those uncomfortable challenges that we truly grow. And I'm just throwing it out there to encourage everybody, take on your own Murph. And I think you'll feel better for doing so.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, absolutely. You got to challenge yourself. You got to, make every day better, right? Every day you're on this earth, make sure it's worth it. High payoff activities, man. You got to make sure you're focused in on high payoff activities in everything you do, making sure you're, adding value in your family life, adding value in your professional life. Doesn't matter what you do. If you work at a superstore or, or a big corporation, kick ass, keep doing good.
Exactly. It's how we stay on the path, how we get better.
The UFO path.
It's how we get better every day.
They're going to enlighten us here, Jeff, when the ascension happens.
Yeah, I think we missed that at New Year's, but all right. Well, that's all I've got for this episode. Brad, any parting thoughts before we sign off?
Jeffrey, the next time we do a podcast, it'll be episode 30.
Another milestone.
Another milestone.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, and from the stats, the listener out of Virginia is continually listening. So, like I said, reach out to us on social media. We'd like to get to know why you're listening to Those Canadian Lads podcast. Maybe you're a Canadian living in Virginia and you want to be brought back up to speed on what's going on in your great country. But yeah. Anyways, all the other listeners, because there's a few of you guys out there as well, thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on Those Canadian Lads, and have yourself a wonderful night.
Thanks again for listening to Those Canadian Lads podcast. Give us a follow on social media. We're on the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you like what you heard, give us a follow and share it with your friends. Thanks again, and have a great night.